Hey everybody, JTO here, obviously. And subscribers to this channel will probably be aware of an ongoing disagreement between two different MGTOW channels, namely Stardust and Sandman. Stardust, who some people consider a deeper or a more cerebral MGTOW channel, has expressed several times his dislike for Sandman, who some people believe offers too superficial a treatment of his topics and who has also been criticized for his focus on money. Stardust, by contrast, delves more deeply into his topics but produces far less frequent content than the one per day videos that Sandman cranks out. And for his part, Stardust, or Thinking Ape TV, has also been criticized for a pretentious and self important delivery style, somewhat distracting from his content. And I want to make it clear that both of these channels are valuable to the MGTOW community, and I don't want to see either one stop what they are doing. But I also recognize that the complaints on both sides have legitimate points to be made. Today I'll be focusing on the complaints from Stardust that Sandman's treatments of his topics are superficial and that he should not be profiting from the MGTOW community. The first issue, which is the focus on money, is, in my opinion, a matter of personal preference. Sandman, whether anyone thinks he's running a high-quality MGTOW channel or a substandard MGTOW channel, is a businessman. That he is focusing his business on MGTOW content is simply a matter of the market he has chosen. He has determined using his own judgment that there is a demand for what he produces, and he is meeting that demand with a video per day. That he has commercialized the production of MGTOW content is framed as a complaint. It may be something along the lines of polluting the pure intention of the message with shallow commercial concerns. But I have to wonder, how is the commercialization of MGTOW a bad thing? If the MGTOW phenomenon is more than just a temporary fad and it's growing in size and relevance, which I believe that it is, then the ability to commercialize it is a natural and healthy sign of growth for men going their own way and the community. Money is one of the measures of how people demonstrate that they find value in a thing. They can make comments, they can tell other people to watch a video or read written content, but when people genuinely find something valuable, one of the most powerful ways to demonstrate that is by opening their wallets. If Sandman's content was not valuable to those who donate to him, they would not donate. If the money is a problem, then it is a self-solving problem, and as I stated, I don't think it's a problem. However, the second issue raised is the superficial treatment by Sandman of the topics he speaks about. In this complaint, I think there is some merit. Sandman does not delve as deeply into the topics he addresses as many people would prefer, and I include myself in that statement. Although I am subscribed to Sandman, his videos do not expose MGTOW ideas that I am not familiar with. But having said that, I also know I am not in Sandman's target audience. His target audience is newbies. And because the MGTOW phenomenon is not static, but is rapidly growing, a focus on newbies is valuable to the community. But his treatment of topics is quite shallow, and Stardust's complaint to this effect is valid. But I have thought about it, and I have a remedy for this.
Hi everybody, John the Other here. The other day I received an email from a subscriber, and this is what he had to say. Hi John, I'm just thinking about something and I would really like to hear your opinion on the subject. Some MGTOWs have occasional sex with women. They have one-night stands, or F-buddies, or friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it. For me, one-night stands are boring. I have no moral problem with them. I simply don't find them fulfilling. That's already a warning sign for me. Now, some guys seem to be able to enjoy casual sex with women, or at least they claim that they are able to do that, but I have my doubts if it is really so easy. Of course, it could just be me, because that romantic touch has always been something that I needed whenever I had sex with a woman in the past. Again, a warning sign. I personally am very skeptical if I would be able to have sex with a woman that I find really attractive and charming without falling into her trap after a while. Now, maybe that's just me and a sign that I am still suffering from that pussy addiction. Or maybe I am just weak, and that still secretly want to pursue those romantic dreams that have been put into my mind since childhood. Now that would be pretty effed up, wouldn't it? I made a comment on your latest video where I wrote that maybe some men are like alcoholics in regard to women. You can never really get cured. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. I'd be curious to hear your opinion on the emotional attachment and if it is even possible to completely overcome it. I assume that men often fool themselves when they think that they have figured out women and that they can play them. At least that would be true for me. It would be like climbing into a lion cage, thinking that I can tame the lion. Well, maybe I can, but I would rather not take the risk. But those are just my thoughts, and maybe there are men out there who can really pull that off. I can only speak for myself, and I think that there would still be a risk for me if I would engage in a sexual relationship with a woman. I am a dry pussyaholic. I know that you are busy and probably get shitloads of messages, but I would be curious to hear your opinion on the issue. And that is what this subscriber had to say. And thank you for your question.
Now, some advocates of men going their own way take the position that complete separation from women is necessary to qualify as MGTOW, and they are certainly entitled to that opinion. Others, including myself, believe that total separation from women is an option, and in many cases, it is a very valuable and productive choice to be made and maintained for a period of several years as men leave their gynocentric social programming behind. But not all men going their own way are celibate or sexually isolate themselves, and those who do choose a celibate life may decide after a finite period of time to have sexual lives on their own terms. So, seen through a MGTOW lens, conventionally patterned romantic relationships are exploitive and destructive, and I would recommend against involvement with that type of relationship for men practicing a path of MGTOW. However, just because a man departs from the social conventions that he recognizes as gynocentric and destructive, does not mean that he ceases to be a sexual being with human needs. But these needs make men easy prey for the game of exploitation and personal destruction that the blue pill world refuses to even recognize as a problem to be solved. Sexual relationships for those MGTOW men who choose them naturally depart from the conventional model. But the subscriber who messaged me mentioned several models, including the one-night hookup, and his objection was that one-night stands are not fulfilling, and this is an objection I share, but I will add to it something else. One-night stands are very dangerous, particularly in a culture which equates male self-determination as an attack on women. Male self-actualization characterized as overt harm to women, as if it has anything to do with women at all. The absurdity of this is too much to delve deeply into without a lengthy side discussion, so we'll just leave it there. But if you hook up with a woman that you have not evaluated at length, you are playing a version of Russian roulette with destruction of your life through a false accusation, or even just by inviting an unknown crazy into your personal space. But what about a non-girlfriend who you have sex with, an F-buddy, or a friend with benefits? This is a model that I think has real potential. In fact, as much as it is sometimes idealized and misrepresented, an F-buddy, a fuck buddy, is above all else not just an irresponsible sexual free-for-all or some other fantasy conception. The important and the often forgotten element of a friends with benefits style relationship is the aspect of friendship. It's also useful to explore the difference between a non-sexual friendship and a conventional romantic relationship. The most relevant difference in this framework is the sense of proprietorship, gatekeeping, and access control found within most common concepts of romantic relationship. By contrast, a non-sexual friendship, such as between two men, has none of the preceding elements. Two friends who pursue social activities together because they want to do not do so because they feel an obligation. A non-dysfunctional friends with benefit relationship reflects the non-obligatory and the non-coerced style of relationship that two male friends typically enjoy, except that they also have sex. But this is a serious and a trust-based relationship. A friends with benefits is not just an irresponsible slut. By contrast, irresponsible sluts might be great for one-night stands, but they're also really great for bringing sexually transmitted diseases into your life, and they are a vector for legal problems and other destructive drama coming into your life. But as much as a friends with benefits relationship is a great thing, it is also very hard to come by because it requires that both parties to any such arrangement be fully self-owning and responsible adults. Now, men on a path to MGTOW may be just that very thing, but the very same thing driving the MGTOW phenomenon is the almost complete absence of these qualities in the female half of the population. And in addition to that absence, there's also the phenomenon of the female chameleon to contend with. This is a suite of behavioral camouflage and mimicking used by many women to persuade men to expose their own resources for consumption. That said, I think a friends with benefits is an excellent arrangement, providing a viable, a non-exploitive, and a socially positive interface for men and women's sexual relationships. But men absolutely must have the maturity to avoid falling into jealous attachment and access gatekeeping, and must also do serious due diligence on any woman considered as a viable friend with possible benefits. It's easy to see what you want and to miss what is all too common. And I'm talking about immaturity, possessiveness, manipulation, access control, chameleon behavior, mirroring, and the grift that follows it, all counting favors to be called in later. Can you find yourself a suitably mature and interested friend with benefits, F-buddy? It depends on how ready you are, and whether jealousy is a trap you're still going to fall into as well. So yes, you can, but don't assume that everybody is in the same mental space that you are. And if you are not ready, then sexual cold turkey is also a viable and a productive plan. And that is all I have to say on this matter for now. And I will be addressing questions from viewers in emails on a weekly or an ongoing basis. All that is necessary for me to do this type of video is that people are sufficiently interested and have questions or topics that they wish to have addressed. And they can address them to me at my email, john@canadiancock.org. There's going to be a link to that in the low bar. So for those who complain that Sandman's treatment of his topics is too shallow and superficial, the remedy is do a better job than he's doing. Or, shut up and go away. Those are the two possible remedies. Anyway, thanks very much for listening, and thank you all for your very kind attention.